Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, the audio of Andy's microphone of this episode has been lost, and therefore we can only provide you with my side of the conversation, which is, as you might have noticed in the older episodes, most of the contributions to the audible side of the podcast. So without further ado, I give you more of my monologue.
So we're closing in on the 4th of April.
Mm-hmm.
Closing in on the pixelturquoise album release, beta release.
Very important to say now that it's a beta release because definitely not software that I would put into people's hands. And anyway, we're not dealing with infrastructure, but never put it to infrastructure. Yeah, especially not now. But yeah.
But as we're closing in on the 4th of April, can you tell us a bit more in detail how the album will look like?
Mm.
How many songs there will be in the beta?
Yeah. All of them. So 16. All of them as they are now, 16. And the amount will also not change. But I'm phrasing it this way specifically because I'm open to, depending on how long the beta testing process and also like production or, well, work on the beta will take, I'm open to switching out songs at this point. We'll see, because maybe that's something that we're going to do, right? And it's also a fun thing to actually like keep later releases exciting. Like I'm even just saying this is a psychological benefit. I think like maybe you want to check out the newer thing because there might be a different song.
So this means
Yeah.
more than 16 songs in the pipeline, so to say. You're gonna release 16 songs at first, and you're gonna have a look at how during the beta phase how they perform, how the feedback is from the audience, and so on. And you already have more songs prepared.
Lovely question. Because we never talked about this. At least I have never talked about with anyone really about this. I always assume people just I just assume to be in sync, I guess there. So no and yes. So right now, for Pixel Turquoise, there is a single additional. There's two additional songs actually, which are, one has never been released and one is called Vanisher and actually does vanish every once in a while. It shows up and it goes away. It is on. I don't know if you ever have you ever listened to Slight Blue Tape on a tape, like the cassette.
I'm not quite sure. I know that I have the cassette, but I'm not sure.
Do you also still have it? Do you know where it
I
is?
think we had this talk before.
Yeah, because I don't know where mine is.
Sure, I have it somewhere.
Okay, there you go. I'm pretty sure I don't have it somewhere at this point. Okay, nice. Because on that tape, it can't vanish. It's there, but it's not listed on the tape. It's like hidden. You need to even wait like a couple minutes until it comes. Right? It's cool. Yeah. And that one is allocated in the Pixel Turquoise color scheme. And then there's another song that I made which just sounds so Pixel Turquoise, which I've not yet placed on the song. I do have an idea to play this as a closer, an actual closer, as a like we're breaking down the stage kind of song, which then is not, since we're not doing that on the record, it's not part of the record. So yes, that is the case. But honestly, I've not worked on any other songs beyond the ones that fill up the record now. But this might happen based on the way that the feedback and also like our relationship with the record changes. And I am constantly now listening to stuff where I go like, oh, I would love to have a song like this on the album, and me working on songs now in the way that I do, I'm just like, it's such a lovely situation that I'm in because I listen to currently, I mean, I just played this record today, the Cadet album by Twin Shadow, just like running here. And there's like 2-3 songs where I go like, because this record is a much more electronic reproduction of a previous very rock, like very analog record, and now it's a digital kind of like interpretation of that. I would love to make a song like this as a new addition for a song that I already have, for example. Or also, I want to make a song like this, but it's not an addition of another song, it's just something new, right? And also, the newest songs, as the youngest songs in that case, on Pixel Turquoise, I like them because they're newer to me. I'm not as bored, I guess, of them. And also, I really like the way that I make music right now from the beginning because it's very confident, very cool. So I would love to see new songs in that universe. And also another motivating factor is that almost half of the album, 7 songs, the 8, but the overlap of Pixel Prince makes that 7 of the 2 tapes, Sly Blue Tape and Petrol Leaks, will have that character of what I just described. We're gonna make album versions of those tape versions. But they're gonna be the same songs. So there is this kind of like thing where I cheat myself into an album because I've already have half of it, right? But this is cool. This is what I want to do. And it's half of 16. It's still a significant amount of new stuff. And also it's new. And we're also going to be changing those. So not yet. Yeah.
Do you plan to only change them during the beta phase, or like once the album is final, will it stay final?
Once the album is final, it will stay final. Yes. Because we got a different color to get to, right? We got a different record to make. Yes, absolutely. But I don't know how long the beta phase will take. But my plan is to close it down with 2026. So I don't plan on working on Pixel Turquoise in 2027. Yeah. That's the idea. Right? Yeah. I mean, yeah, this need, like, yeah, we want to release the final one. I need to. Yeah. Yeah. And I think like half a year-ish, or I don't know, maybe there's a clever way of putting like 4/4, and then we're gonna like land somewhere on the 11th of November. I'm just gonna putting this out there, like 1/1/1/1, and then that's then we have one album. There you go. That's how I make my decisions. So it's 11th of November now. Done. Yeah, I thought it here first as well. Like, literally have not thought about this, right? But this is just it's an easy way of making a random choice by another random occurrence. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You should check every episode at this point because it's possible because there's gonna be a like there's 1-2-1-2-2-6, which is also, I mean, that's fun. We unfortunately don't have a 44th day and a 44th month, but that can be also calculated back if you don't reset on a New Year's, right? Then you already get like 44 months. That's possible. So yeah, I can do whatever I want in the end. Yeah, down to the second, right? Cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Now, from last episode, one date I still have in mind is the 26th of April.
Yes, which is a Sunday.
And this will be the first beta listening event.
Yes. Very specific. Yes, it's the event because the beta will drop to developers, which is what we're going to call the 44 people that we're going to be inviting. uh, will be able to listen to, and this will drop publicly. So beyond, but I think that's just, I mean, the public is 32 people probably. That's just going to listen to this, that are going to be aware of this dropping, because that's about as many chats as I have open in my phone, and I just like push that to the, like I copy and paste.
Recently found out that there's lots of people from Wolfsburg listening.
Yeah, shout out Wolfsburg. Yeah, there's a server in Wolfsburg that keeps playing the records. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Oh yeah, true. Difficult plug. I don't know. No, I'm trying to make deals with other brands. But okay. It probably sounds good in a Polo, right? Yeah, it's just yeah, that's what I listen to music on. That's where I learned to drive. Okay, detour back to 4/4/26 to the 4th of April. That's for the record that beta will drop publicly and also for download, because I mean, you can rip it anyway, so we're gonna make that available too. All right. But the convenience of the streaming service, I think that's what we're going for, right? Let's not kid ourselves. You can also buy it on iTunes, I guess, right? If you're into that. And then the 26th, which is, in a lovely way, 22 days after, which if you sum that, you get 4, which is nice. Right. That's when that's going to happen. And obviously, we're not going to do a day event on the Sunday. Actually, sorry, we might just do a day event on the Sunday. We might just make this because it's a developer conference. It's not a concert, right? So we might just, oh, lovely. And it's going to start at 4 a.m. You're up anyway. Yeah, you're still up. You're coming directly from the club, right? Yeah. Yeah, it just fits. Yeah, there you go. No, that was a joke. It's gonna be we're gonna find some kind of nice way to make this a. Let's be kind to everyone, right? You got stuff to do on Sunday too. You want to go somewhere else? No, we're gonna do a brunch kind of thing, I guess. Like, right? This is be kind to people. Yeah. Well, essentially, in a way, I don't expect anyone that we don't know and that we're like unaware of to show up there. And we're definitely also, when we come to that point, we're going to prioritize people that well have a connection, right? We're doing this for the community that we kind of like already know, and that's just also a planning I think condition that just makes sense. But all the links, all of this, everything is public. It's lovely. Everything is public, which is not yet. The company is not yet public, right? We're not at the Börse yet, the stock market. But everything is public, and we're gonna be. By the time this drops, this is our job in the coming days to make sure that you can register for the event. To make sure that you can also, in addition to registering, make a contribution financially and or in a way where you can let us know what you can provide, be that help with the space, be that help with the organization, be that help with the tech, be that help with specific other things that I am now not mentioning, but just not aware of. There's someone who wants to specifically take care of hospitality, the fact that people are coming, and that they need to be greeted, need to be handed something, placed somewhere. All of this, I would love to have. The button is here. I would, yeah, all of this, I think, like should be part of this conversation. So, and anyone who, I mean, if there's a person out there that we don't personally know who actually like watches this and is available and in Berlin and is a human being, because we are, then yeah, you can come, of course. Yeah, just reach out and like check the site, check below this video or like in the podcast here. The site is always linked. You can also Google this whole thing, and then you will find the site. And on there's going to be a link for the event. And also, there's always a way to reach out to us via the comments here or via Instagram. Like, it's all here, right? All of the stuff that the big podcasts do is also possible here, right? I mean, yeah. So, reach out and come. Nice. But reach out and then show up when we confirm that, right? Because it's definitely not an open door event, right? So we're going to close the door at some point. Yeah, it's not an open door thing. Yeah. And maybe the location will also not be public, right? So anyway, right? So you need to that's easy, right? Okay, you need to contact us to know where to go. Yeah, register, right? Yeah. And then you'll get a badge. We'll be awaiting you. That's the idea, right? And it's actually quite important to me that it's I'm going to put myself in a bind here. That is exactly 44 people in the room. Yeah. So you got it. Well, but what do we do when someone is sick or something? Just don't tell me. Yeah. This person identifies as 2 people. Yeah. I identify as more than 1 person, so I can scale that. That's fine. There you go. Everything is possible in Berlin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, but this is something that we should underscore. If you want to support our efforts, whatever way, reach out to us. Doesn't matter if you want to support financially. Doesn't matter if you want to support in any other way. Reach out to us and we'll find a way.
Yeah, really. And also, I mean, that's what I do as well. Like, if you communicate on eye level and I mean, our eye level isn't so gigantically high, but I do that as well. I leave genuine comments. I write genuine emails. I've given so much like direct feedback to products and services that I use, to big apps, and I've gotten a message back. And we're not flooded by by anything here. Yeah, just reach out. Like that would be lovely. We would love that. That would be a first, right? I mean, you could even race to be the first, I guess, at this point, right?
There's a story that I
Mm-hmm.
remember. It's back in the days when AS Roma,
The soccer club
soccer club
of Rome. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they kind of started their web shop, and it was in like the early days. Like the big clubs already had their web shops, but AS Roma didn't for whatever reason.
That was school times for us.
Yeah.
So like the 2010s ish. Before that, like 8 to 2008 ish. Yeah.
And they were just starting the web shop, and they had their soccer jerseys and everything on there, but they didn't have the socks.
Stockings.
So like for me, this felt I don't know, like off, because when you visited like the Real Madrid store or whatever, of course they had the entire set.
The kit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I wrote them an email and said, hey guys, I really want to order the stockings.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way you could put them online? And they answered me, hey, sure, nice idea. We're gonna just put
What do you
them
mean,
on.
nice idea?
Yes.
Okay.
It was so
Love it.
yeah.
Okay, but
And to me, it felt like, as a professional soccer club, one of the biggest and
Yeah.
most traditional.
And you at that point identify as a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, sure.
Thank you for it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling out.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Yeah. I wonder what my first like interaction like this was. Well, I had a couple of like as a like just like retweets and stuff, like really like that happened like when, and that's actually not that long ago, but the first thing that comes to my mind where I felt like, oh wow, this is actually real, right? Because I definitely had this like in a healthy way had this differentiation between the internet and the real world, and it didn't quite match. Like I didn't assume naturally that there's actually a person on the other side, right? Which is, I think, like because we come from pre-recorded and like movies where the character is actually not real, right? At least that's what I've been told. That the guys and friends, well, they were friends, but they're not. It's not their names. It's not their home, right? Just gonna break some people's brains. Um, and I was it's also a bit of a. This is actually like a sweet story. I don't know if you know this, but when I was in Hong Kong to film the Features Helen video, which what to film what would become that, I had the Travis Barker, the drummer of Blink-182 biography with me because I really like the book because I really like I adore the guy and just his life is just extremely interesting to me, and also like just his style, his way of drumming, the band, everything. Just he's to me he's the goat, right? And to the point where I set up my drums. I used to set up my drums like he does. Had his signature sticks. Not don't play them because I cherish them. His signature cymbal bag that I still have. That it's just a big fan. Used to wear the exact shoes he used to drum. Like that's the level. So I'm just trying to explain like why that was a significant moment. And I took a picture of the book because I was reading it on the promenade between Hong Kong Main and Hong Kong Island, from Main looking at Island. And I tweeted at Travis Barker, I'm reading your biography in Hong Kong. And I think within minutes, he answered my tweet. And I couldn't believe it. He was like, "Oh, that's so dope." And I was across the globe filming filming the second music video for my first album, which had not even come out at that point, I think. Completely in a different scenario, already like big, and then that that made the other success and the other things so irrelevant. Like that shook me. And also I have this narrative in my mind where I go like, oh yeah, that's a sidebar I'm on, right? And I was like, oh damn, like wow, like I'm onto something. That was cool. Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. But yeah, I mean, who you never know who's watching. I'm pretty sure Travis doesn't watch this. Like yeah, but that was a cool moment. So yeah, it's cool when you interact with people, right? And from the other side, I guess when it's not annoying, like when you're actually just that's what I mean on eye level. Like I mean, he wrote it for people to read it, and he was like, oh wow, someone in Hong Kong is reading. Like that's also like I mean he's a real person. And in that book, he's definitely like he's a real person, and that was cool. That was like such a cool experience to like have a biography of like what a difficult life he had, including all the accidents and stuff which happened to him. Yeah, then like he appreciated that. That's cool. Yeah, and we will too. Yeah, and I'll maybe write a bit more than oh that's dope, right? Because maybe you write a bit more than I'm just like I watch this. Then I will go oh that's dope, right? Yeah. 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 Because that would be dope. Yeah.
And I mean, it makes even more sense because you not only can support the music, not only can support the events, but like the IO is not only about music and about the events, but it's like much more behind it, right? And there's like more areas that we are active in.
Very true. Yeah.
You can just give us a brief open the window.
Mm-hmm. Is there a thing like just on a bit of a meta level? Maybe we can even like cut this out just to check in with you. What is the topic that we want to land on in the end?
I would like to elaborate a bit on the brand strategy and design.
Okay, lovely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel that this is the area where we are the most active in right now. Like,
Your
of course,
feeling is correct. Yeah. That's,
next
yeah.
to music and so on, of course.
Yeah. But no. But like, I mean, business wise, that's definitely like daytime activity, definitely, right? And responsibility to the outside.
I
Yeah.
feel like we don't need to do a deep dive into
No. That's
but
even yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's actually good because today also this is some stuff like there happened, and it's also tightly related to what we are doing for ourselves, right? I treat IO as its own client, right? I don't know if like you have seen this also in our file system. We are in our own file system just like the other clients that we have. We just like the others have a folder where we work out the branding of this, where this is a product that I also like have products, yeah, listed for other matchmates as I call them, right? Um, yeah, and I think then what we are doing is a good way of like recursively telling this story. So within the IO ecosystem, I guess, within everything, the main projects that we're doing right now is, and you just mentioned this as well, is we offer essentially services that revolve around brand design. And by doing this for other people, we become better at doing it for ourselves than we do it for ourselves. We have very high standards. We have a lot of freedom because it's such a um what is the right word? It's not abstract. It's a very modular and uh yeah like it's so simple to the point where it becomes really dynamic branding and approach that we can experiment a lot based on a very like poor simple like it's a very fine-grained mechanic in a way that we um it's very non-specific. It's very non like the branding mechanics of IO are extremely simple and open for interpretation. This is lovely because it's O and I, open for interpretation. That's good. It's extremely vague. I think that's actually like in the most positive sense. So it's a very easy. It's like Lego. You can essentially build anything, right? And we have. This is why it's so cool to like do this because it's a very good model organism to try certain things out and to become better and practice and do that for ourselves. To then see, okay, I can actually like. It's a gym in a way. You can build a muscle, and it's a school where you can have different experiments. It's a lab in that sense as well, and then you can try and test that and boil it down and then make it available to other people. And also you can take something, for example, from a client that is very specifically positioned as a service company that does this specific thing. They have a name, they have a client list, they already like have a very like we like in German I would say a very pointy product. Like it's very like specific, it's very pointed already. Like it's very precise. Um the opposite of vague, right? And we can then apply our we can abstract and then boil it down again, without hopefully losing too much touch of that. So to give an example, we are actively doing this to be able to figure out like what regular content creation looks like right now, because that's changing as well. We are doing this to also internally find a way of communicating to each other, because we are the two leading characters in that venture. We are building the website, building the branding, finding a voice. We're having this space. We're essentially practicing and rechecking whether or not the approaches that brands like, which is also funny to mention them as an example, the brand Nothing are doing, for example. Brands like Apple are exploring this now as well. I mean, Apple doesn't have a podcast yet, but right? And they're heavily leaning into the whole like influencer scene now. And they're doing events. Like they have different Instagram and TikTok accounts now that do very specific experimental stuff. It's just, I think there's a bit of okay, we're going to check whether or not the systems still operate in the way that they were designed to. And it looks like they actually operate in a much better way, in a cleaner, in a more committed, more real way, because the internet is flooded by artificial content at this point, right? So it's just a cool moment to check if the world is still the world we wanted it to be, right? So that's the intention matching thing. And these are all things that businesses more or less require. And it's a good thing to have in German we say in petto, like in your arsenal. That's a very military term, but in your skill set. So yeah, everything we do for us, which is we're on the way to doing like regular like content, regular posts, advertisements, merch, recordings of any kind, whatever you can record. I mean, obviously I have a lot of recording experience when it comes to audio. I also have a lot of like multi-camera recording experience, like as a kid already. Like I did these, like, if you can find this, that's fun. The drum cover thing that I did with multi-channel, like mics, cameras, lights, everything, just by myself in the basement. Just by myself, like aided by a lovely environment, like fucking insane. Shout out to my parents for that. Like, wow, crazy, above average shit, right? It's just crazy. Yeah, and all of this, I think I can like we do for ourselves. We then become confident that we can do it for others, and sometimes we even do it for others first, and then we become confident that we also can do that for ourselves, because that level is enough for ourselves. Sometimes it's easier to do it for others, right? Yeah.
I feel like also doing this and also talking about the company within a podcast or about like specific processes of the company or whatever feels so valuable for a company in general, because you get live feedback from like listeners, viewers,
Yeah.
potential customers, and you get the chance to like re-evaluate, to recalibrate,
Yes.
and to just come out of the entire process like
Yeah.
much more resilient and strong.
And how do you think that happens? Because I mean, in the end, this is what the press also does if it works correctly, right? I mean, correctly, but if they're kind. So how do you think that is different?
The press is it's always filtering, and by
Yes.
doing
Yeah.
like podcasts or whatever, like you're in direct touch with either your customers or whoever listens, whoever gives you feedback, is kind enough to give you feedback. It's much more direct.
I have a question here. Do you know that Apple switches off comments on their videos. They do. What do you say? Because they are in direct contact, but they switch off the comments. Why?
Not sure because because they want to control the comments. I don't know. They don't want to have like the bad comments or whatever, like all the Microsoft users. I don't know.
So the bad comments, right? Yes. Because they're not, in that sense. For example, nothing doesn't do that, right? They do exactly what you said, right? And they even address people like companies like Apple, in their videos, right? It's a means of communicating, and we know that Apple is like is aware of YouTube because they do interviews with MKBHD, with Marques Brownlee, the tech YouTuber, right? I mean, he's going to Cupertino. The Apple people like go. I believe even they go to his studio. I don't know if they ever went, but I mean, I know that that channel has been like they have exclusive interviews with the executives. But in this case, it's interesting because I think Apple is just very aware of people being, even in a very funny way, just trolls, and like a very clever top-rated comment to be associated with an Apple launch. That's just what they don't want to map onto the same page, and they also don't want to turn their YouTube into a experience where someone is asking for support but can't get it. And this is a very positive way of seeing this. They don't want a cul-de-sac for people like saying, hey, I have a problem. Like, because this can happen, right? They have very specific channels. They have the stores. That's what this is for. And this is supposed to be a non-interactive movie, right? They're putting up movies. And I wonder how Apple is doing this in the comments, for example, with Instagram, with the new Hello Apple thing. Very interesting to see because that just launched a couple weeks ago, right? There's a Hello Apple, and just so you know, Hello Apple is an address, right? It's saying Hello Apple, right? And I mean, they have the hello for the boot for the Mac, but this might just be the thing where they actually reply to DMs and stuff, right? Because it's the communication one, and the other one is the castle. Yeah.
But there's also no such format as like Tim Cook and some VPs discussing whatever their processes or strategy in a podcast, in a 2-hour podcast.
Not in an Apple produced podcast. These are the product launch movies that they do now, but they're not like talking to each other. This is like a full on like production, right? And those podcasts are happening when Tim goes to, now he's showing up on Instagrammers, tech Instagram. And I mean, yeah, again, Waveform podcast from MKBHD. Those guys sit down with like the 3 top execs, including marketing, hardware, and software, and talk about like, I mean, the marketing lead like throws the iPhone Air like to Marquez and it drops on the floor. Like it's very podcasty, and that is a podcast, but it's not Apple podcast. Yeah, it's true. But I mean, we're talking about Apple. I mean, it's a large scale operation, and I think they're doing fine. They don't need that kind of community thing. They're already quite in touch, right? And who knows? Maybe this was because Nothing now, the company Nothing, is now. I don't even know how old they are, but they must be compared to Apple at the point where Apple is like in sight of the iPod, maybe, in terms of age. And who knows what the Apple community, would have looked like now, if they're just starting now with social media, because that didn't exist, and what it looked like, because they've done these conferences since forever, right? And they were I mean, with the developer community and all of that, which we're also like, I mean, that relates actually to what we're doing here. They've been doing this for a long time, and they don't need that anymore. They get enough like feedback. They get enough like built into the products. They get a lot of like feedback, right? And I said, this is a cool thing. I live under the illusion that I am, with probably other people, am responsible for the fact that you can pin, and this relates back to what we just said, like this whole like reaching out to a large thing, that you can pin albums in Apple Music to your library. I wrote via the like backdoor ugly feedback site on Apple, like it looks like still like some kind of cat OS, like some kind of like mountain lion era Mac OS kind of site. And I wanted to, because it's called a library, right? And I wanted to say, hey, so if Apple Music actually operates like this vinyl player kind of thing, I sometimes have a record that I listen to a lot. And there's no way of keeping that up for me and just having a quick access to it, just like putting the vinyl on the shelf, on display, where I can easily just have I don't know, I would have loved like 9, 10 records that are just decorative, that I just see directly, that are in front. And I sent this and I said, just like a vinyl thing, I even know where I was when I sent this. And it was years before this then happened. So I live under the illusion I said this. But now, it must be like over a year ago now, you can pin 6 records to the top of your Apple Music thing. Which, to be honest, there's a lot of other things that I would love. So I might just start writing that as well. But I live under the illusion that this was heard. And it's also, I mean, such a obvious feature that, I mean, if I can think it, other people can too. At least people that develop software at Apple just might have had that on their list already. So it's a correlation, but it's fun. Yeah, yeah, I would say so. But it's... yeah. It's just a paper note that just someone forgot, right? Yeah, that's probably how it goes there. Right? Yeah, someone got around to it. Yeah. Well, coming up with all these new iPhone designs, right? They just had to do that sometime. Yeah. No, but yeah. Sorry, got carried away a bit. Apple talk. Yeah. Apple juice. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like
We have it. I do want to, because I said this before we started recording, I do want to flip the script a little bit and also ask you a bunch of questions. And what we're going to do just as a ritual, I'm going to take the iPad and the pencil, just like so that I'm the journalist, and I'm also going to cross my legs like you do. Lovely. Yeah, I'm going to see what you actually... This is neither written in hand nor edited recently. I'm going to draw something, I think, at least. Yeah, draw something. Yeah. You know what's also lovely about this is that the date is compatible with Europe and American, which is our second largest audience of continent, right? Based on the one, yeah, this is compatible. So this is what I've drawn, and you can see this now. Right, yeah. So this is the date of the album, which is also the hex code. The hex code, I'm going to draw it as well, just because I can now. And I wanted to make it all about you, and make it all about myself, which is lovely. That's how I do. 26C4 F4. Did you know that you can just Google a hex code and it will show you the color? Yeah. I mean, it's also what else should it do? But it's lovely. I use that. Yeah. Right? So yeah, this is what we're gonna do. Okay. Flipping the script, not changing the script. Since we are in each other's company, literally and also legally, and you also, in a very actually obvious way execute your role already also within this podcast quite excellently, actually. I think like I love it, and when I listen back to this, full disclosure, I listen back to these fully.
I feel like
Yeah.
there's a steep learning curve.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's you didn't start at zero. That's all I can say. And even that there's negative numbers, right? So I agree. And I mean my learning curve isn't that steep because I've done it for so long, right? And it wasn't steep. But I mean there's a curve. So I to get back to that, to the compliment part, um what is your main focus um within this project, within IO, and mm, also if you want to, you could also talk a little bit about well, how you got here. We don't have a full on like we started the first zero episode with like a bit of a road to here from me, and if you want to take that tour, not detour, but tour, super happy to get that in as well. And also, I mean, you can point if you're talking learning curve, you can. I mean, at this point, I think you're very good at this. Also, like making a prognosis or kind of like a vision happen where what you want to do. Because for example, I said like there's more records coming, like all of this stuff, and yeah, what's happening? Yeah.
Start with the first thing that I put actually on the notes. My one of my tasks is that I'm being a professional interviewer now within the IO update regime, right?
Regime. Damn.
I put
Okay.
I put in there professional interviewer and master of coin.
I wanted to say a master of coin is fantastic because coin also has 4 letters and contains IO. Master of coin is lovely. I need to have that word in the album. Lovely. Coin the phrase. Very good. That needs to go into a song. Thank you for that. Yeah. I'm gonna pay you for this. And you're gonna pay me also. The
So maybe a bit more general, like where I
yeah,
come from,
yeah.
and maybe also like why we are doing this also together.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that from my point, like back in the days in school and when studying, I always felt like there's a couple of things that I want to see in the world which were not there yet and which still are not there. But I feel that like they would make the world a better place. They would contribute to the world, to society, to kind of just making life a little bit better. And it's like this is like very vague, but in terms of like educational content, I think a lot about adaptation, like society adapting to technological change, like a digital enlightenment, and like freeing the mind from the shackles of digital slavery, so to say, right, through technology. Because I feel like technological advancement is so much more rapid than societal advancement, and societies can keep up with the change.
I mean, also just on the base level. I mean, the level at which example phones, the iPhone as an example, have developed, right, is just vastly faster than the brain does.
And
Full stop.
there's so
Yeah.
much interesting things to look at. And if you think about like democracies, how slow democracies are in implementing change, because you always have to have some kind of consensus. And it makes a lot of sense, but it also, of course,
Absolutely.
adapting to advancements
And in a very pragmatic way, this is why we choose to run a company not based in principles of democracy. And most companies do, right?
reason.
For good reason. For just absolutely existential reasons, right?
Yeah.
You just look into the world and see how that goes. And yeah, so yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. And
I
yeah.
always felt like it's the same with you. You have the music part. I don't have the music part. What I'm into or what my
Well, your release, I would say, like in the English world, it's like what you use as a form of release, or like like what offers you a method of release. Yeah, which is nice because we touched on that word as well, right? Yeah. Cancel the just, please. Yeah. I didn't know that. Like, I know that you write, and I expect you to write a book, but that you say it's kind of finished, that is news to me. Wow. Oh. That was a book? I thought it was a text. Like, the way that it came to me was like, this is an essay. Really? I am so sorry. That's what? Really? I didn't even look at the file size. But then this gives me such good reasons why I ignored it. I'm just not finished with reading it, Andy. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's why. I'm just playing around. Yeah, you're not on it. Like, what's the date? What's the date? What spiritual numerological date do you have? Yeah. 2100 something. Yeah. Well, I mean, what? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. End of year. Yeah. Nice. Good. Something to read. Uh-huh. Just to give a little bit of context, we can like paint a picture from the book. Is it prose? Is it poetry? Is it a like a novel? Is it a? Are you writing a manual or like a science book? Are you writing a children's book? And I'm not even like, I mean, you can share the content and like more of that as well, but I'm just interested in what kind of like style or genre you're in. Because 65 pages can be anything, really, right? As part of the narrative or coming from the author? Okay. Is it the same piece of poetry in the beginning and the end? Okay. Okay, there you go. Nice. Okay, lovely. All right. Okay. Cool. In what way do you because for me, like I'm quite the it's a bit like I'm gonna use that and it sounds a bit like maybe a bit like arrogant. But in my case, it's quite obvious that this is a priority for me, putting stuff into the world. And it's something that I know about you. In what way do you feel like, and I mean, things into the world, right? We're humans, right? It doesn't have to be a thing, right? It doesn't have to be an object. In what way do you feel like you've been practicing this? Not as in like trying or training, but as in putting this to practice. Because I can think of a couple ways in which you have done this. Yeah.
Can you rephrase a bit? Because I feel
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah.
so many things I can think of, like
Yeah.
putting into the world.
Yeah.
Could also be
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah, and that's why I open this, because I think there is a bunch of like meta stuff there. And in my case, just as an example, I've been making music, not releasing, but I've been making, I mean, music and stuff and images and videos and files and shirts and jackets and this kind of stuff. I've been making noise in audio, in clothes, in for a long time, and it's a very clear and intuitive way of saying I make stuff, right? And it's stuff. And in your case, like I do know a couple of things. Like it's not, but I wonder what you identify as a something that you that makes you identify someone who's looking to create output. And I wonder if you know this, how you do this extremely well.
Always happy if you enlighten me.
For a hint.
Yeah.
For a hint, yeah.
Or like
But it's also, I mean, it's kind of a riddle, right? We're sitting here and doing that. Yes. Yeah. And creating spaces and stuff. Like really, and also, I mean, I create spaces and stuff, and you create spaces and stuff. That's what I see you do, because you're an extremely. That's what, like, my relationship to you is that. Um, yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 And I feel like you've been, and this is a very meta statement, because I am also, and this is so cool because we, um, I rely on people like this heavily. And I rely on you for this. And that's why it's also like my life has so greatly improved after you moved into the. Sometimes it's like, I mean, now we're like oscillating between like meters and single kilometer kind of thing, right? In the same city. Maybe a bit more. That you moved into the same space. And I rely on people. And there you're not the only one. And I've also like grown up around people like this, especially, shout out again, my parents, who create conditions for making things, right? And also necessity and a sense of relevance, right? And a sense of um, a reality check, a sense of appreciation, interest, and not to the point where it's like, wow, like you're not like it's not a fan kind of thing. Um, it's the most proactive and beneficial form of tolerance, I think, that I really appreciate there. And that's a product in and of itself. And that's what you've been, in my experience, especially towards me, but also in the world, have been practicing for a long time. Yeah.
It's like I would phrase it as honest interest without judgment. Because, like, for example, also like when we talk about music, I mean, you notice all the time I don't have a fucking clue about music. It's just the case. You can show me a famous song, whatever. You can name me an artist. I don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah, I mean about what music is, the music business, the music game right now, right? But the music, the age-old thing, I think, yeah. I mean, there you actually have a little bit more of a clue than I do, in a way, because you're classically educated in a way, right?
Some like
Yeah,
classical music pieces and whatever.
yeah, but this blows my mind, because you know so many songs that I don't know, which don't have lyrics, which have not been released in this fucking century, man. Yeah, and this blows my mind. And there I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. You know the music that my grandpa knows. And I don't like this is epic, right? You could like I mean I'd have no clue, right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know the bangers of that realm. Yeah. You do. Yeah.
But still, I feel like if someone creates output, it's fair to show honest interest and
Right?
to
Yeah.
explore the intentions of
Yeah.
why the person
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I have to understand it in the end, like, completely, or
That's not what it's for.
exactly,
Yeah.
or that I have to like it or dislike it. But
Mm.
just like exploring
Hmm.
and being interested. And if I understand it in the end, it's even better.
Mm.
If not, it's okay.
Lovely. Like being aware of the time. Let's close this off because like it's cool. This is the episode 3, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. Which yeah, I wanted to make a 4 jokes, which is gone now. Let's do what you said before and what I've done. Well, how we launched this now. Give us a little bit of your past because you said like you're interested in education. Give us a little bit of your like. I mean, it's available now. Like from the episodes that like how I got here, what I studied, like this kind of like CV kind of thing. And be as vague as you want to be, right?
So I
Yeah.
grew up in
Yeah.
Bavaria, small town next to Munich, also a neighboring town where you grew up.
Yeah.
That's also how we met in school.
Mm-hmm.
I did my studies in Munich, business with chemistry, and
Which just so we also catch the Americans that might watch this. We're literally talking about the natural science chemistry here. It's business with chemistry. It's not a spiritual like sales kind of thing. It's a technical university course, hard business, yeah, and chemical engineering because it's business with chemistry. Yeah, sounds yeah. All right. Yeah.
it's like a mixture of
Mm.
both.
Mm.
Various
Mm-hmm. Add-ons.
add-ons, and
Mm-hmm.
I chose chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's quite natural to me that I'm interested in educational topics since all my family is in the area of teaching.
Well, you could also be precise and say that your immediate family, the nuclear family you grew up in, are all teachers except you. They are, by profession, all teachers. Your dad retired at this point, but they're all teachers. Yeah.
And like after my studies, I started working in the
in addition to being a major German corporation, it's a major global corporation. Yeah, I think Google would say so. And that's just the ground truth of it all. But in this case, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I did a semester abroad in. I lived after my A-levels, I lived in Barcelona, or in the town next to Barcelona, for roughly half a year. Also, during my studies, I lived for half a year in Porto, Portugal.
Good enough. Appreciate it. It was lovely. I visited you there. It was lovely. It was a funny time. Yeah. Funny is a funny way of putting that. But yeah. But that was cool. It was gross. Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm in. Well, I just want to say I'm in cold and rainy Berlin, but honestly, Porto was cold and rainy as well.
At that time, yes, it wasn't nice.
You think you're moving down south to some warm.
Depends on the month, right? I mean, what was it, like September, winter thing, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, really? Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. All right. Lovely. It showed its the best side. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Porto. Yeah. Yeah. Good place. Uh-huh.
This is basically like the steps, or like the short CV.
Mm-hmm.
And then during my time in Munich, like when after my studies, while working, I felt that I wanted to have a change of scenery and explore a different city also within Germany, and felt that the time was right to also start the IO.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. Yeah. Do you remember, like, when I tell that story, do you remember, like, I have a specific place where I feel like that choice, or at least that plan was formed? Do you remember? Because it's kind of beautiful thing.
Yeah, it was in Tenerife, right?
Yeah, on Tenerife. Yeah. 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 On a beach, right? Where you're sitting in the sand.
This I don't recall.
Yeah. Like, I know the specific beach.
For me, it was in the last Airbnb we were in.
The one where I screamed. The tiny home.
The tiny home.
Where I screamed so hard because of my back. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so hilarious. Yeah.
But the sleeping, like the mattresses, they were
Like under the roof. It's a crawl in. Yeah. Like in a car.
But there was a big window.
It's lovely, right?
Watch the
Yeah.
stars.
Yeah. And I, while surfing, just so you know, like why I screamed, because like, I, while surfing, kind of like twisted my neck, and this has happened to me twice. Also, always in the winter, and then I'm in so much pain that I can like I have such a my body just goes like I can't move this, and then we decided that it might be a good idea to like test whether or not you could like crack my back. And we did this in the tiny home, and I mean, I couldn't control the guttural scream in the middle of the night. Yeah, and the laughing afterwards hurt more than you lifting me up. But it's also, I mean, it's a tiny home on the top of a mountain. It must have been so funny. I mean, some kind of birds must have like gone into the air because of this. Yeah. Yeah, on the beach. Yeah. Because they were talking about like a hospital in Vienna. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to those guys. Yeah. And then he actually like he did his thing on the beach, right? He looked at my spine and pressed certain things and like made sure. Yeah. Pressing my back and like making me do acrobatics in front of him. Lovely. And then I even asked him if he wants to see my insurance card. Which he declined. Lovely guy. Yeah, he was on vacation. Yeah, and on that, we were on a beach, sitting, going car down and going with the car down to that beach. I think we didn't swim, but we were sitting in the sand, just having, I guess, like what we brought as food. And we weren't alone too. But yeah, there were two other people with us, friends. And then we talked about this, and this is where it occurred to me that you would. No, this is where I remember you communicated the first time that you would leave Munich. This is where I now, with the information that I have post, know that this is where that thought initiated. Because we were actually talking about a different person. Yeah, but that's a moment. That's for me. That's the start of that. That's where that's where you started talking about this movement. Yeah, yeah, which is lovely. Yeah, and then it happened. Yeah. And then to close this down, what's your role? For example, when I just talked about like we need help in, and you said you're a professional interviewer. That's what you're an aspiring professional interviewer. I wonder how you phrase professional, like what that means to you, because to me it means being paid for it. Damn, I am so not professional in so many things because I never do that. And you're master of coin, which I really like, especially because it's a singular, it's a single coin. But what do you plan on doing in the event, and what do you already do in the wake of the event? And this is just so I don't know the answer to this. Yeah, I'm actually genuinely interested. What do you want to do? Yeah, yeah. I thank you for your question. Let me start by answering a different one. Could you define topics in this context? Like we oscillate between divisions, which I really like, divisions and yeah, let's go with divisions at this point. Yeah. That's the division called IO brand kits, right? Just like the IO airwaves are in all things music, right? Yeah. I feel like I'm hilariously active in that area. Yeah. Yeah, I don't sleep. I don't do IO sleepworks much. Yeah, sleep times. It's called IO everything, not the entire IO. And time, right? Yeah. 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 Yes. Yeah. Which also is already the case, right? And we need to put more into this because it's not just me or you putting in time, right? I mean, we've definitely and yeah. So this is further on the roadmap, right? Yeah.
step and we looked at it and we worked on it, we can again try to standardize and try to structure and turn
Yes.
our focus towards other topics and other divisions. And this structuring and like reworking, I feel like this is what makes sense to do.
Yeah. Which is actually also something that I do constantly, aided by my trusted AI model. I refactor the divisions. So I've had certain divisions, like brand kits has swallowed a bunch of divisions that were previously like never public, but there was the granularity of division, like how big the chunks are, how detailed I make differences. That is constantly something that I not constantly, but I find these because brand kits is just as large as, for example, like airwaves and light beams, but essentially brand kits it should be, and I had this before, just so you know, I had IO light beams in static and dynamic. So non-moving images, still images, were light beams static and light beams dynamic, but that was just too complicated. It actually wasn't good as a product title to say, like, this is the division you can see from the division name, what it kind of is. And light beams just, to me, is clearly video. So yeah, that's why I took that apart. And brand kits is just also a thing. If you Google this, you can find the thing, right? So I try to make that happen as well. So this is something that we're thinking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I'm gonna do on the 26th of April, we're
Gonna
gonna find out.
get hilariously drunk. Which you never do, by the way. Yeah, right? Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. That's a cliffhanger. Will I find out before? Really? I mean, I might tell you what to do in the end. Yeah. If you don't come up with something, I do have the tendency of telling people what to do if they don't do something themselves. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and if you are interested in Andy not being bossed around by me, also tell Andy, give Andy some ideas on what he could be doing. Yeah. Alcohol-free one. Yeah. Lovely. Then this time from my side, thank you so much. Do you want to? Well, we're gonna save that for the next one because the Master of Coin thing. I think that's. But I mean, if you listen to this, you could kind of like say, "Ooh, yeah." I mean, it makes sense what that means. But we're gonna leave that open to extend on your portfolio.
And also, I would find cool to please give us feedback. Also, what
Mm.
topics you're interested in, because now we
Mm.
touched on like not only the music, but today we
Mm.
touched on a couple of more topics.
Yeah.
So in case you're interested in something like specific or want
Yeah.
to deep dive into something, just
Yeah.
give us feedback.
And also, even if this, because I don't pretend like this is going out to a bunch of people now, right? I mean, it will in 2 days, but I don't pretend like there's like people, like the masses of comments. Even if you're like watching, looking at this a couple years from now, even to ourselves, we're going to set up a system which scrapes comments and like filters this, because this is how you do it. And it will show up on some kind of dashboard in the future. It will just show up. Maybe a non-human operated dashboard of some aliens that are like have taken over. But yeah, just, I mean, whatever you are, whatever you feel like. If you're a bot, if you're an AI, if you're a Claude bot, if you're, yeah, that's dope. Oh, that was dope. Yeah, right. That's what our Claude bot is gonna do. This is the Travis bot. What we do, right? Yeah. Dope, dopeness. Thank you so much.